Welcome, parents! Today's video will walk you through breaking down the week's worth of kindergarten lesson plans from the grid into a daily teaching plan. Plan to spend about an hour to an hour and a half on language arts instruction each day, broken up into small chunks of teaching time. Let's get started. On the left side of this plan, you will see the materials you checked out from Valley Oaks. And across the top row, the 5 days of teaching. Day 1 begins with spelling phonics instruction. You will use the Literacy and Language Guide Teacher Edition and the student workbook called the Reader's Notebook. On the grid, find the section labeled Spelling and Phonics. These Teacher Edition pages include 5 days of lessons and activities. You will complete the Day 1 and the student will complete a Reader's Notebook page. Next, you will move on to the Words to Know section. This is where you will spend time teaching the sight word or words that your student needs to memorize. There is a side page on sight words for the week in the student reading book at the start of each lesson. Your third lesson of the day will be vocabulary. You will use the Literacy and Language Guide Teacher Edition to teach the oral vocabulary lesson, Day 1. The page numbers for this section of the Teacher Edition are listed on the grid. Finally, you will use the Read Aloud book to set the stage for the week's reading lessons. Model fluent reading for your student, practice listening, comprehension, and oral vocabulary. There is a lesson to be taught with the Read Aloud from the Literacy and Language Guide Teacher Edition, and the page numbers are found on the grid. Today, you could also complete 1 page of handwriting. Usually 3 pages are assigned weekly, and this plan suggests completing 1 on Monday, 1 on Wednesday, and 1 on Friday, but they can be done anytime during the week that fits best in your schedule. On Day 2, you will again start with the Spelling Phonics lesson. Complete Day 2 from the Literacy and Language Guide Teacher Edition and a Reader's Notebook page. Review and reteach the sight word or words for the week and complete a workbook page that practices the sight word. Complete Day 2 from the vocabulary section of the Literacy and Language Guide Teacher Edition. For the reading lesson today, you will use the Big Book. There are 2 access points for the Big Book. You have a digital access with your student's Think Central account, or we have paperback books for you to use. The purpose of the Big Book is similar to the Read Aloud. It is another story that fits with the theme of the lessons for the week and is used to teach comprehension, reading fluency, and vocabulary. Questions and a mini lesson are found in the Literacy and Language Guide Teacher Edition, and page numbers are referenced on the grid. Finally, today you will introduce the writing and grammar lesson for the week, use the Literacy and Language Guide Teacher Edition to teach the first mini lesson, and complete a Reader's Notebook workbook page. Day 3, you will start with the Day 3 Spelling and Phonics lesson from the Literacy and Language Guide Teacher Edition and complete a workbook page if needed. Continue to practice the Words to Know for the week. Try to find a different way to read or write the word. Complete Day 3 of the vocabulary lesson for the week from the Literacy and Language Guide Teacher Edition. For today's reading lesson, you will need the student hardcover book and the packet labeled Student Book Guide. The packet provides lesson objectives and teaching guidance. You will use it to teach the first story for the lesson and complete a Reader's Notebook workbook page if time allows. The writing lesson for today will be the second of the writing mini lessons from the Literacy and Language Guide Teacher Edition. Teach the lesson and practice the skill. Day 4 will start with the Day 4 Spelling and Phonics lesson, then a review and practice with the Words to Know for the week, and Day 4 of the oral vocabulary lessons. You will again use the student book for the reading lesson along with the student book guide packet and teach the second story. Use the Your Turn page for discussion about the 2 stories and complete a Reader's Notebook workbook page. The writing lesson will be practice of the previous lessons from the week, and the student will complete a page from the Writer's Handbook packet. On day 5, complete the last spelling and phonics lesson, review the words to know, and practice reading and writing them, and complete the day 5 vocabulary lesson. Return to the Big Book and find the second short story. Read the story and complete the corresponding reading mini-lesson from the Literacy and Language Guide Teacher Edition. Complete any remaining Reader's Notebook workbook pages and practice the writing grammar skill for the week. Finally, think about whether or not your student may benefit from using the leveled readers. These can be accessed through your student's Think Central account and are an excellent way of supporting beginning readers.